Good morning, student. In this period, we will see our next point, finding equivalent fraction when numerator or denominator is given. Finding equivalent fraction when numerator or denominator is given. Numerator or denominator is given. Here, now see example first. And example first is find an equivalent fraction of 4/11 with numerator 12. Example is find an equivalent fraction. Equivalent fraction of 4/11 with numerator 12. Question is find an equivalent fraction of 4/11 with numerator 12. Here we convert this numerator 4 in 12. So to convert 4 into 12, we have to multiply this by 3. Then we get numerator 3. 4 3s are 12. Then we get numerator 12. So multiply this number by 3. In solution we write 4/11. So we write 4 into 3/11 into 3 is equal to 4 into 3 12 upon 4 into 3 33. This is answer. Numerator is 12 and denominator is 33. Now see example second. Example second is find an equivalent fraction of find an equivalent fraction of 2/5 with denominator 15. Here example is find an equivalent fraction of 2 upon 5 with denominator 15. To convert this 5 in number 15, we have to multiply this number by 3. So in solution we write 2 upon 5 is equal to 2 into 3 upon 5 into 3. Is equal to 2 into 3, 6, and 5 into 3 is 15. 6 upon 15. Now see next point. And next point is reducing a fraction into its lowest form. Reducing a fraction into its lowest form. Lowest form. And example is reduce (256) in its lowest form. In solution we write here in numerator is 192 and in denominator 256. To convert in lowest form, firstly find their HCF. And how to find HCF? Take a factors of 192 and take a factors of 256. Choose only common factors and multiply it. Then we get a only common multiplication of only common factor. These numbers. Then we get a HCF of 192 and 256. And here HCF of 192 and 256 is 64. So we have divide this number by their HCF. That's mean 192 divided by 64 upon 256 divided by 64, because 64 is HCF of 102 and 256. First, roughly we do this division. Firstly, we divide these two numbers by 2. 2 3s are 6, 2 2s are 4, 2 9s are 18, 2 6s are 12. Then again we divide by 2. 2 1s are 2, 1 is remaining. So here is a 12. 2 6 are 12. And here 2 4s are 8, 1 is remaining. 2 8s are 16. So 16 1 are 16, 16 3s are 48. So we get 3. Now we take this. Now 256 divided by 64. 2 3s are 6. 2 2s are 4. 2 1s are 2. 2 2s are 4. 1 is remaining. So give it to 6. So here is a number 16. 2 8s are 16. Now 2 1s are 2. 1 is remaining. 2 6s are 12. 2 6s are 12. 2 4s are 8. 16 1s are 16. 16 4s are 64. So we get here 4. This is our lowest form of 192 upon 256. 3 upon 4 is lowest form of 192 upon 256. Verification. Since HCF of 3 and 4 is 1, hence 3 upon 4 is lowest form of 192 upon 256. If HCF of numerator and denominator is 1, then it is lowest form of given example. Like and unlike fractions. Our next point is like and unlike fraction. Like and unlike fractions. First is like fraction. In like fractions, two or more than two fractions are said to be like fraction when their denominator are same. In case denominators are same, then we call it like fraction. For example, 5 upon 17 and 9 upon 17. These are like fractions. We can take also 3 upon 17, 2 upon 17, 7 upon 17. These are also like fractions because denominator is same. Now, unlike fractions. Unlike fractions, two or more in unlike fractions, two or more than two fractions are said to be unlike fraction when their denominators are different. In examples, denominators are different, then call it as unlike fraction. For example, 8 upon 21, 5 upon 17, 6 upon 19, 8 upon 25. These are unlike fraction because their denominators are different. Now next point is comparison of fraction and comparison of like fraction. In this point comparison of fraction, we will see 2 points: comparison of like fraction and comparison of unlike fraction. First we see comparison of like fraction. Fraction, comparison of like fraction. And example is compare 4 upon 13 and 7 upon 13. Example is compare 4 upon 13. Comparison between two numbers is to decide which number is greater and which is smaller number. 4 upon 13 and 7 upon 13. In solution we write, by considering the numerators of 4 upon 13 and 7 upon 13, we get 7 is greater than 4. Hence, 7 upon 13 is greater than 4 upon 13. Here is denominator is same, so it is easy to identify greater number and smaller number because denominator is same. By considering the numerators of 4 upon 13 and 7 upon 13, we get 7 is greater than 4. We know that 7 is greater than 4. That's why 7 upon 13 is greater than 4 upon 30. The numerator is greater of that fraction, then obviously fraction is greater than other fraction. 7 upon 13 is greater than 4 upon 30. Now see comparison of unlike fractions. Unlike fractions. And example is compare 2 upon 5 and 4/7. Here, observe in this example, 5 and 7 are different. That means denominator is different. So, to identify or to decide which number is greater and which is smaller, firstly we make their denominator same. To make their denominator same, multiply 2/5 by 7 and multiply 4/5 by 4/7 by 5. Here we multiply this number, that is multiply 2/5 by 7 and multiply 4/7 by 5. Then we get denominator same. That means LCM of 5 and 7 is 35. Or we multiply this both number by their LCM, and LCM of 5 and 7 is 35. So we cross multiply here. The solution we write. Converting 2/5 and 4/7 into like fraction, we get converting 2/5 and 4/7 into like fractions. We get 2/5 is equal to 2 into 7/5 into 7 is equal to 14/35. 7 to the 14, 5 into 7, 35. Now take 4/7 is equal to 4 into 5/7 into 5 equal to 20/35. Now this is 2/5 and 4/7 becomes like fraction because they have same denominator. By considering the numerators of 14 and 20, now consider their numerators. Then we will decide which is greater number and which is smaller number. That means which is smaller fraction or which is greater fraction. So observing their numerators, we know that 20 is greater than 14. So therefore 20/35 is greater than 14/35. But that means 4/7 is greater than 2/5 because this is equivalent fraction of 20/35 is 20/35 is 4/7 and equivalent fraction of 14/35 is 2/5. So obviously 4/7 is greater than 2/5. Now see our next point, ordering of fractions. Ordering of fractions. First is ascending order. And the example is arrange the following fraction in ascending order. Arrange the following fractions in ascending order. Fraction are given 1/3, 5/6 and 2/5. Here these are unlike fractions, so here we not decide which is greater and which is smaller fraction. So firstly we convert this fraction into like fraction and then arrange in the form of smaller number to greater number, because in ascending order we arrange the numbers in the form of smaller number to greater number. Firstly we will make their denominator same. So here firstly we find LCM of 3, 6 and 5, and LCM of 3, 6, 5 is 30. How to find LCM? Factor of 3 is 3 into 1, factor of 6 is 3 into 2, and factor of 5 is 5 into 1. Firstly take common. It is common in 3 or 2 numbers. That means for this 2 take a 1, these 2, 3 take a 1, 3 and uncommon, that is 2 and 5. This is 1. So 3 2s are 6 and 6 5s are 30. So LCM of 3, 6, 5 is LCM of 3, 6, 5 is 30. So we make their denominator 30. We make denominator of 1/30. 1/3 is 30. So multiply by this number by 10. In solution we write 1 into 10/3 into 10. Then we get denominator 30. That is 10/30. To become this denominator 30, multiply this number by 5. 25/30. 5 5s are 25 and 6 5s are 30. Now last is 2/5. To make the denominator, here's denominator is 30. To multiply this number, so multiply this number by 6. 2 into 6/5 into 6. Then we get 12/30. Now these are like fraction. Now you can identify the greater and smaller fraction by comparing their numerators. So by comparing the numerators of 10/30, 25/30 and 12/30, we can say that 10 is less than 12 is less than 25. And so hence 10/30 is less than 12/30 is less than 25 upon 30. So we can write an equivalent fraction of 10 upon 30 is 1 upon 3 is less than equivalent fraction of 12 upon 30 is 2 upon 5 and equivalent fraction of 25 upon 30 is 5 upon 6. This is ascending order. Descending order. An example of descending order of fraction. Descending order. And example is arrange the following fraction in descending order. Arrange the following fractions in descending order. Descending order. And examples are 3 upon 4, 4 upon 5 and 2 upon 3. In solution we write arrange the following fraction in descending order 3 upon 4, 4 upon 5 and 2 upon 3. Here also we cannot decide which is greater fraction and which is smaller fraction. To decide which is smaller and which is greater fraction, firstly we make their denominator same or convert this fraction into like fractions.